Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're well. Even though I am sitting here wearing a hoodie, it's starting to heat up. In the Northern Hemisphere anyway, it's starting to. And so with that in mind, I decided let's go ahead and talk about some fresher cologne fragrances that will have you smelling great during the spring and the summer. And frankly, whenever you want to wear them. Fragrances don't necessarily need to be season specific, even though a lot of them maybe should be. So all of these are gonna be linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. Let's jump straight into it with this hype beast, Art of Universe. This is, of course, from Lattafa, and they skipped a few things with this, you know? They had like Art of Arabia, Art of Nature, Art of Wood, just kind of like a lot of random things, honestly. And they said, forget that. How about art of literally everything in existence? So I guess the next one they're gonna have to come out with is like Art of Multiverse or something like that. Art of String Theory. But this here is a fragrance that's been getting a lot of hype. Yes, indeed. I actually had to buy it off of Amazon, and it was kind of expensive for a Lattafa because it sold out from like every single discounter essentially. And there are some people that are asking just full on WTF prices. Like, look, I know that the asking price is not necessarily the price that it's gonna sell for, but $163? What? Two sold? The two of you out there who bought this at that price, why? And 13 people as of right now are watching that listing. Don't do it. Dear God, don't do it. So yeah, it's one that's gotten a lot of hype. So I was like, well, I'll pick it up. And as I was looking, it was sold out everywhere. And I did overpay a bit compared to what I would usually like to pay for a Lattafa. I think I paid like 55 or something like that. And let me tell you guys, this is pretty sweet when you first spray it on. Quite sweet, yeah. There's bergamot, mandarin, ginger, mint, and pear when you first spray this on, and it's very sugary. It does come across synthetic, not necessarily in like a displeasing way, but it does have like this level of sweetness where you just go, ooh, yeah, that ain't natural, is it? Kind of like snow cone syrup or something like that. Like if you just took the syrup straight and you just shot it back, that level of sweetness when it hits you, you're like, ugh. It's kind of like that to an extent. It smells a bit similar to Blue Talisman, so it's kind of in that wheelhouse. It's not a one-to-one. It does have, as I've mentioned a couple times, more sweetness than that one, but it's in that style. So if you like Blue Talisman, you'll probably like this one a good amount as well. And the first couple times I wore this, actually, I was not a huge fan. I thought it was just too sweet, too overbearing in the opening. But as it dries down, it does become much more palatable, easier to wear. It smooths out the edges a little bit because it's like very staticky almost when you first spray it on with all that sweetness. But as it dries down, like I said, it gets way more wearable. You get a little touch of woodiness that comes out underneath everything. And at that point, ultra versatile. And people love how it smells, which helps. So even though it is similar to Blue Talisman, you could wear this as an alternative to Blue Talisman. Be aware it does ramp up the sweetness a bit compared to that one. But as long as you don't mind that sweetness, it could be one that works out extremely well for you, which is why it's selling like crazy. But do not overpay. Don't do it. I think what I paid was too much. I feel like, you know, closer to that 40 range, maybe less. That would be like really, really hot at that price. But yeah, once you start going up 60, 70 bucks, yeah, I gotta walk at that price, even though I bought it at 55. So it's like, oh, $5, I'm walking. Let's go from something that's really hard to find and crazy expensive to something that is easier to find and is crazy cheap. This one is from Fragrance World, and it's called Neroli Riviera. So you can find this one online for 25 bucks, but at other stores you can find it for 21, and at other stores yet still, as of this video, about 15. So yeah, you're like, oh, 25 bucks, that's cheap, and then it keeps going less and less and less. Eventually, they're gonna be paying you to take this from them.
No, please, no, please. No.
Now, I don't even have to tell you what this is similar to because of the name and the packaging. But in case you don't know for some reason, it's Neroli Portofino. I know, surprise. You were thinking oud wood. That close. Yeah, it's just... So yeah, Neroli Portofino, and just like that scent, it is an extremely easy to wear spring summertime fragrance. Has that nice classy edge that the Neroli imparts, that little bit of citrus to it. Grab me some of these tester strips. Yeah, Super clean, a little bit soapy, kind of green. I mean, it's close to Neroli Portofino. Only it is way, way cheaper. I will say that one has maybe a touch more of a soapy aspect to it for me, which could bring it in line also a little bit for being, you know, an alternative to like Mugler cologne. So even though it looks Neroli Portofino-esque, you could use it, I think, as a replacement for that one too. Let's go next with this one. It is from Luciano, and it is called Coastal Breeze. This is another one of those ones where they are, you know, getting a little close with the presentation. Smells similar to Pacific Chill from Louis Vuitton. Woo! It smells like a vacation fragrance, that one. I mean, so does the LV, but yeah, I mean, that smells basically like what you would throw into a bag and take with you to Aruba or something like that. Just really zingy, fresh, sweet, citrusy, minty, with a little bit of a tang to it as well. So it gives you this nice, like, sweet, sour balance, more on the sweet side. But yeah, that little bit of tang just makes it more interesting to smell. And Luciano has a lot of other fragrances that smell similar to Louis Vuittons that all come in this bottle style. Most of them are pretty well done as well. And since Louis Vuitton has so many fragrances that are really good for spring and summer, if you're not a big fan of Pacific Chill, you could probably find one of what you are a fan of. Next up, Rue Broca Theoreme. Now this is one that used to be really, really, really cheap, like right around 20 bucks or so. And then as people found out about it and found out how good it was, the price kind of climbed up a little bit. That does have a tendency to happen at some of these discounters when they notice, oh, this one is selling really well, more than it used to. What should we do? I know. Charge people more, which makes me roll my eyes so far into the back of my head that I'm staring at my brain, but you know, whatever. So yeah, the price on it crept up, and then it got a little bit harder to find for a little while, but the price has slipped back down a little bit. And now it's sitting at right about 25 bucks. So, you know, not too much worse than what it used to be at. This is another one for lovers of citrus. We got a bunch of it off the top here. Really nicely done, has a great sweetness from the opening into the dry down. You get some amber in there as it dries as well. It smells similar to Bulgari's Tiger. So it is right in that style, in that wheelhouse. And to be frank with you guys, there are like 50,000 different fragrances out there at this point that smell kind of similar to Tiger. So this is one of them. But I think this is one of the best as far as striking that balance of bang for buck, where you don't pay very much, but the quality is way higher than you would expect for the amount that you do pay. Because you could spend double the amount of this one and maybe get a fragrance that you think is 5% better or something. But at that point, are you really getting the benefit of spending double? So Theoreme Tiger. So as we work through these, I'm giving you some of the prices, some of the cheaper ones, some of the more expensive ones. But in general, if you would like to save money on pretty much anything here, then you can use one of these codes that you see now to save a little bit of that extra money. The JOMASHOP codes only work within the app, and those change every quarter. So if you're watching this in the future, those codes have probably changed, but you could check a more recent video, and I'm sure that I'll have them up there, the new ones. You can also find clone fragrances at Max Aroma. You can find them at Fragflex, at the Perfume Box, at Triple Traders. So you can use these codes to save money even more off of what they are normally priced at. Next up, a fragrance from Paris Corner, Zingy. Zingy with the fuzzy bottle. I can't help it. Every time I talk about this, I will talk about the bottle and how much I hate it, because I hate fuzzy bottles. I don't want it to feel this way. It's not normal. It feels like this really cheap stuff at Walmart or whatever your country's equivalent to Walmart may be. Yeah. Stay away from those places. But it feels like when you go into a Walmart, you go to the section that has like all the sewing supplies and just random crafts things. So I guess really it's not Walmart I'm talking about, it's like a craft store, but my mind automatically went to Walmart for some reason. But it just feels like this weird, like super cheap, crappy, velvety-esque stuff. I don't even know what that, not velvet, I don't know, something that you would use for like cheap crafts, like you're making a mixed media collage for your 3rd grade art class or something. And they were like, you know, it'd be a great idea if we super glued that to a glass bottle. That would be just pristine. It screams quality. I'm not kidding, I have to fight the urge to throw this like a hand grenade and just get it away from me. I hate it so much. But the fragrance is pretty darn good. Okay, I'm sorry I did that. It's Torino 21. It's supposed to smell similar to Torino 21. So what does that mean? Once again, another Zingy. See, it's like on the name, Zingy.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
But another zingy opening, minty, citrusy, very fresh, bright, and sweet. I always figured there would be more Torino 21 alternatives out there than there actually are, because I feel like that's one of the better Xerjoff fragrances, especially for spring and summer. One up, not the, but one up. There's also this one from Montagna called Torino 2021. They really went out with that name. And this one is very good as well. It's a little bit more pricey on a cost per milliliter, compared to that one. But this one does hit a little smoother. Like Vaux Zingy definitely has more of the zing. Torino 2021 by Montagna is a little more like smoothed out sweetness, but still really good. Smoothed out sweetness. Up next, let's go for this one. 9 a.m. dive. Work on your caps, Afnan. That is way up there. It is at the tip top of this bookshelf. All right. The cap slides snugly into place. Didn't think that one through. Thankfully, it just knocked down a bottle, but it's fine, it's safe. It's a little bit like a missile just flying through the sky. So this one is maybe not exactly a one-to-one of another fragrance. This is something that comes across more like a blend of sorts, you know, kind of its own thing, a little twist. It has blue fragrance freshness with a little sweetness on there, a little bit similar to something like Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, mixed with a touch of the sweet aspects from Y, but the fresher Ys, like Y Eau de Toilette, not going into the deeper sweetness of like a Y Eau de Parfum or the original Le Parfum. So in terms of notes, it has lemon in here. Once again, mint. A lot of these have mint. There's also apple, cedar, blackcurrant, ginger, and sandalwood as well. And the price on this one has gotten way better over time. Once it first launched, it was a little expensive. It was one of those ones where people were taking pre-orders at discounters, and I think it was going for like 50, 60 bucks maybe. Nowadays, you can find it for closer to 30, maybe even under 30. Next up, we have North Stag 4. And this is kind of in the same style as Afternoon Swim from Louis Vuitton, but it does have more of a sugary tone to it. So it's very citrusy, in case you couldn't tell by the bright neon orange bottle, which by the way, I think looks pretty good. Even has a really tiny mirror so that you can look at your eyeball. That's about it. I can't really use that for much. But yeah, this one smells similar to Afternoon Swim, but more citrusy. Also better performance. So with this one, you have to enjoy the orange. You have to embrace the orange. If you don't like that, then look somewhere else. But as far as the quality versus the price, I think it's extremely well done. What next? Let's do... How do these work? Okay. I think, okay. Nope. Okay. Oh! Armaf Infinity, and depending on where you look, Infinity Black or Infinity Silver. You see, because some people have decided it's Infinity Black because the bottle is black, but then silver because silver along the edges. It's an interesting bottle that has a hole cut out in the middle for reasons. And this smells a bit similar to L'Homme Ultime in terms of how it comes across. Good old L'Homme Ultime from Yves Saint Laurent. It was perfect for spring, and then it was discontinued. So this is in that style. It's maybe not a direct one-to-one, kind of like this one over here that we talked about earlier, to where it ticks enough of the boxes that it'll work for you as an alternative, but it's not the exact same. Still, has a really nice classiness to it while maintaining casual usability, just like L'Homme Ultime used to do so many years ago. Paris Corner again. This time it's Moscow Mule. Smells similar to By Kilian's Ginger Dash, which technically the whole name of that is Blue Moon Ginger Dash, but you already know what I was talking about. And with the original being named Ginger Dash, this one does indeed have ginger. There's also citrus in here and mint, so it's one of those very clean, very bright openings. A little bit to me like a out of the shower type fragrance, a casual day-to-day scent. There is a touch of woodiness in there as it dries down, but that's not really the focal point of the scent. And for a fresher type fragrance, actually sticks around for a pretty good amount of time. Last but not least, Armaf Odyssey Limoni Fresh Edition. See Afnan? Look at that. Can do, look at that. A cap ain't going nowhere. Actually, I'd probably pick the one bottle out of all of these where the cap would go flying. I feel like the Fragrance World one, I feel like that one might fly also. Let's see here. How do we want to launch this thing here? Let's see. Yep. Got some strong rotations, a lot of G-force. That one just launched the cap straight into the ground. Okay, so 2 here. Can I pick this one up by the cap? No! So this one right here is, again, a little similar to Afternoon Swim. So that makes 2. But it is also doing its own thing to an extent. Now, in comparison to North Stag 4, this one is not as much of a candied, sugary sweet orange. There's orange in here, there's also lemon, there's bergamot, and they're kind of in equal footing when you first spray it on. You also have some aquatic notes and ginger in here, so it gives it like a little bit of a sea salty freshness. And as it dries down, there's some tea in here as well, which gives it a touch of, not bitterness, but this like green aspect that has like a little zing along the edges. Between the two fragrances here, I think that North Stag is better if you're looking for just straight up a citrus bomb. If you want a little more going on, a couple more aspects coming through, like those green aspects, then I would go for the Armaf. Just depends on what you're looking for. Let me see, do we have anything to give away? All right, big dogs, let's do a giveaway. Stuff. North Stag 3, Ether Extrait. You know the drill. All you have to do is leave a comment, be subscribed to the channel. You have to leave a comment, otherwise you're not entered. Just let me know what you're looking forward to wearing this spring and summer. Doesn't even have to be a clone, it can be anything. Designer, niche, indie, clone, whatever. Give me at least a couple weeks. I will pick a winner with random comment picker, post it up on the community tab, which is now known as the post tab, along with winners of other videos that I've done here recently. And then you can hit me up and I'll ship those out to you. So there we go, guys. There's some different fragrances you can wear this upcoming warm seasons. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.